All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, double honor to the apostles, elders, agreeing millstones, citation, and brothers who pushing his word, in truth, and sincerity with charity, and risking their lives and freedom to do so. It's a brother, young guy, come from Great Millstones, Cal Camp, coming at you in a lesson. No one is edifying. Um, just talking to this coworker of mine, man. This was inspired to this quick scripture today, the lesson. You know, you can't wake up and decide you want to just start serving the Lord. You know, you can't wake up and feel like, because at the end of the day, what these people do, I think they have an epiphany, life-changing experience or something that happens, or, just like a guilt trip. They want to, try to read the scriptures, and, you know, especially, you know, when they start relating their faithful works as in going to church. Because Corporate Mile, he said, and he don't know what it was, but something made him download the Bible app. He said, every Sunday I'm give an hour, and try to better myself, and you know, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe he mentioned church later on down the road in that conversation. But I didn't go ahead and start telling him that he's a Hebrew Israelite or so-called Negroes, Latinos, or Native Americans, so-called Native Americans, chosen people of the Most High. I didn't go into all that. You know, just by shit he was just saying. I know the Spirit ain't dealing with it. You know, the Spirit bears witness. That we are the children of the Most High. There's a lot of things that I was trying to see. I forgot exactly what I said, but it's something that he didn't agree with. Basically that everybody's equal, basically everybody's the same, so on and so forth. You know, and and that's not true. According to the scriptures, there's a nation above all of the other nations. All right, Lord is not for everybody. Okay, and so one of the scriptures that I wanted to use as my scripture today is one of my favorite scriptures, man. Because I at one time, you know, wanted to have build a better relationship, you know, with the Lord, and you know, it's basically going the broad way that leads to destruction. It's not that narrow, that straight gate. You know how the scripture tells you to do it. You know, hey, you be prophesying. The men of the Lord are out here prophesying. The men of the Lord are out here in the highways and byways and doing lessons. They're feeding the sheep. They're keeping the flesh under subjection. They're applying discipline. You know, um, moving with wisdom. You know, now here, you know, committing adultery, worshiping idols. Into mingling with the other heathen nations, but you know, no, all right. So you can't. There's a lot of people that think that they just woke up and started to, they all in church. They woke up and think that they're trying to serve the Lord, but they ain't doing it the right way. They all in church, man. So their own understanding, you know, and there's a scripture to prove that. This is John chapter 15 and 16. It says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. For whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you." You know, and if it's in his lot to go ahead and find out the truth and become a believer and really truly worship the Lord and directly, correctly, calling out upon the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, that's up to the Lord, you know. Um, but the way Jake goes about it, their mouth is serves the Lord, but their heart, Scripture says that the heart is far from Him. They worship Him with their lips, but you know they don't consider the Lord, man. And it shows by their actions. Start telling them, hey, you can't eat pork, don't get tattoos, don't commit adultery. And there's one motherfucker I was working with. And this is why I don't break bread with Jake, man. There ain't no point, man. Go out there and holler about way through your lessons. You know, and the spirit have it so be it where it just so happened they find out, and there's people that walk past camp, you know. But other than that, I just leave it alone, man. You know. But there was one cat I was working with, and his man, he was excited for it. Everything I told him, man, he agreed. He was just 100% in agreement. Yeah, man, either what were gods? What? Um, these people were going to slavery. We the chosen people. Everything. Like, they, uh, the Caesar Borgia, JC, it's all BS. You know, everything was cool. And then it came to lunchtime. We go get some lunch. This dude trying to order some pork, and I said, "Oh yeah, that's another thing. We don't eat pork. As according to the scriptures, the Lord gave us the, the dietary law to follow." And man, his face just dropped. This man was just so disenchanted. This guy just like his whole mood slipped and just looked at me and said, "Man, nah, I can't do that. Mm-mm-mm. I love my pork." Hey, this motherfucker's for real. You know, Not, and it was just that everything I said just went out the fucking window, man. He didn't really want to believe anything. And it's just like I don't want to hear no more. You know. So, but hey, you plant the seed, the Lord increases. A lot of these people know that they're Hebrew. Hey, this motherfucker told me that they're Hebrew Israelites. But their actions prove that they're not. The seed of fucking Canaan, man. you know. So, but I just want to share that John 15 and 16 says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you." So you don't choose the Lord chooses you. All right, and that shows you another. You can't, no free will. All right, all these things was ordained and written in the heavens, man. Even Jeremiah, I knew you before that womb, before that was created in that womb. You know, so hey, I just wanted to bring that out. Cut that chance to wake up and start serving the Lord, man. Because who do you call upon? You know, which way do you pray? Is your head covered? Is your head not uncovered? It's a lot of things these motherfuckers don't do. but they say that they serve and want to follow the Lord. And when the scriptures come, hands get tossed in the air, and steam and smoke comes out their ears and nose, man. So, no one edifying scripture, Jay, I'm ending up with that. So next time, say shalom and blah, blah, blah.